Hey everyone, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Although I am a licensed clinician, I'm also just a person. I love to be able to be in my real life and speak from that point. And that's where this podcast is coming from. So enjoy.
Searching for truth, looking for answers. There must be a way to another day.
Hello. Hi everyone. Happy Easter.
Yes, happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
This probably won't come out on Easter, but you guys can watch this. We're doing a live on Instagram. We never announced that.
Yes, we're doing a live on Instagram so that everyone else who listens to this knows that we're doing a live. Yes.
Right. So, yes, we're back.
We're back from Mexico.
Relaxing time, honeymoon. It was great.
Mexico was amazing. Everyone has to go to Tulum, considering it's like the only place I feel like that's open right now for anyone to travel to, but worth it. That's for sure.
Yes,
well worth it.
Food was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You just get this really chill vibe out there.
That's right.
Very authentic and definitely worth the trip.
Worth the trip. So today on God's Day,
Jesus' birthday. Happy birthday, Jesus.
Happy birthday. We're going to get into some stuff today, some shit that has just been popping up throughout the week. And in Mexico, Joe and I, we have a list of stuff because we'll forget. So, and we get into understand something that the shit that you guys hear us talk about on this podcast is literally the shit that we talk about just on a daily.
We have to stop ourselves.
We have to stop ourselves.
We're like, let's save this for the podcast.
For the podcast. But today it's really going to be, there were some things that came up when we were traveling back home from Mexico that we just kind of wanted to highlight and talk about. We're also going to get into some of the Colorado shooting stuff that happened. We got some stuff on that.
Just in the
shootings
violence,
in general, the violence going on.
Asian violence.
Yep. We're going to get into this vaccine percentage effectiveness thing that we just had to talk about this morning. And then what was the other thing? Damn.
Workplace
stuff. And then government jobs.
Well, not
and
workplace.
It turns into that, okay? Government jobs / workplace issues. Environment, okay?
Conditions.
And people working there, and we're going to get into that. So, really, with this whole Mexico thing, that I feel like is also tied into this whole COVID thing also, because obviously with COVID, now you got all this shit to do, right, when you travel. But when we were coming back home, what started this whole conversation was that we were online and we had to fix some stuff or whatever about the ticket. And we were online. Inline, yeah. And there was this online.
Well,
can I be online?
Somebody could have misconstrued that with being online, like the internet. We were actually physically in a line.
Oh my God. We were in a line. And there was this she probably had to have been maybe 3, 4, something like that, this little girl.
Yeah.
And she was literally hysterically bonkers, going insane because they told her, the airport was she has to put her mask on. And she was in front of us. She was screaming,
the mom's
crying. The mom's trying to put the mask on. She's crying. My heart was ugh, I felt this is the most awful thing happening right now. This little girl does not want to wear this fucking mask. She's 3, 4 years old. And the mom's I know, sweetie, you have to put it on, blah, 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 blah. It's gut wrenching. And then I started thinking to myself, fuck this. I'll be fucking damned, okay, if I'm making my kid go through any fucking thing like this shit. Then, okay, they start the whole COVID testing at 2 years old. And then I'm my daughter's 1.5 years, so what kind of tests are they doing? Because the up the nose thing will not work for her. I'm going to tell you that fucking shit right now. Will not. She has a fit even going to the pediatrician when the sight of the pediatrician.
You're
okay?
wiping her nose.
Let alone putting a fucking Q-tip up her nose. So I don't know what they're doing for that age range, but not fucking having it. And then I have to put her through that trauma. because that would be trauma for her. Okay. Then I got to put her through wearing a mask trauma. No, not doing it. Bullshit.
Yep, we're just living in Mexico after that.
Living in Mexico. We're already looking for apartments.
We're there.
Done deal. I'm not making her go through that shit. That is mind blowing to me. First of all, they talk so like I get that like babies or are like carriers or whatever, and they don't really I guess get COVID much or severe symptoms or whatever. But I'm like 2 years old. I feel like that's just like a really, really, really young age. Like lungs are still developing. Everything's going on at that age. And now you want me to wear a fucking mask at 2 and have this thing up my nose? No, this is trauma. As I was watching this little girl literally throw a fit, I was like, this is absolutely traumatic. And Joe was like, do you think she'll remember it? And I was like, do you understand that I have patients that remember shit at 3? So if that was something that her brain processed as trauma, as traumatic, because understand, that's not the first time that she's going to have to be on a line or in a line somewhere having to wear a fucking mask, in a store. So this is going to happen multiple times to this little girl and many other kids. So now it's trauma after trauma after trauma. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. It really is. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
I mean, I'm not a fan. So... yeah, I mean that kind of like leads us right into the whole thing. This is a clear overreaction to this thing, and especially since everybody is vaccinated now too. Like, why?
Well, everyone's not vaccinated.
Well, a lot of people are getting the vaccinations now, like on a daily basis.
Yeah,
like we're talking right now, and there's 1,000
someone
people
online
getting online or in a line
or in line
right now for vaccination, right? So there's that, and then they what were you saying this morning? The effectiveness.
Oh, okay. So I read in an article, because every now and then I just kind of go online to freshen up in terms of what's going on in the world. And I saw this morning that I guess the CDC had said that anyone who gets the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine is at like 90% in terms of like effectiveness of preventing them from getting infected with COVID.
So at that point, you still have a 10% chance of getting COVID, right?
Right. The population, right. People who get it, yeah.
So anybody that has it still has a 10% chance of getting it.
Yeah. Which is low.
Right. But like they've also, the CDC has come out and said, no matter what, you only have a 1% chance of getting COVID, period. Whether you have the vaccine or not. There's less than 1% chance. So, I mean, I guess if you have it, then if you get the vaccine, then you have a quote-unquote 10% chance, and then you still have that 1% chance. It's like you only have a 1% chance of getting this. So
right. So what he's saying is basically everyone's focusing on this, like you got the vaccine and it's like 90% effective and everyone's like so harping on it. Right. But yet no one's harping on the fact that it's a really low chance of getting COVID
in the first place. And we're doing all this bullshit and like scarring our kids for their lives. And for what? For 1% chance of getting something that most people are recovering from. Just my opinion. I think it's fear tactic.
We did, though, hear yesterday, because shit's getting real serious now with these vaccines, you guys. Like, my dad and, like, my aunts and stuff like that yesterday. And they were like, please understand, they were, like, real serious about this shit, too. Like, real serious. So,
it's like a trendy thing to them.
Trendy. They're like, so serious. Like, so, yeah.
Was it?
So Melton was like, Melton goes to my mom. He's like, yeah, did you hear about
you can get the free
lamination that you can get for the vaccine card? Yeah, man, you better go get that free laminate.
Yeah.
You better go.
Like
I look at Joe from the corner of my eye because I'm like, I know he wants to say something right now, and his mind must be like blown. So we're like laughing, like just like inside, but they are dead serious. My dad's like, I went, I got it laminated, it's done, da, 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 da. And then my mom's telling a story about how her husband is going to get it laminated and wear it around his neck when he goes to do his DJing in New York so that everyone knows and sees that he's vaccinated. It's fucking serious, guys.
You should get yours gold plated or a gold chain with like a frame around it. Like, watch, maybe that's what like people are gonna start doing. Like rappers
I can
and
put
stuff
like
in music
glitter
videos.
on it and get that shit like popping.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be an accessory.
Yeah. Or get it tattooed on you. That's the next one, right?
That is the next one, actually. Guarantee you guys at some point there's going to be a QR code QR code that
Oh.
that you're gonna have to get tattooed on your arm. It's gonna be like, and then it's gonna show vaccinated, not vaccinated.
Well, that's already happened. Well, not that, but not to that level. But they have kiosks in. My buddy just flew back to New York, and he said that there's kiosks at the baggage claim, and then New York just came out with this new vaccine app that shows
Passport, vaccine
So
passport.
it's a QR code that you scan your kiosk when you fly into the state. Good luck, guys. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm pretty much. I'm just gonna have to drive a lot or something. I don't know.
I don't
This
know
is
what
crazy.
he's doing. I don't know what you're going to do either because
I'm not
like,
getting this damn vaccine.
No, he's not. He will not understand something. So I don't know what's going to happen to you, Joe. I mean, I'm going to be living and just doing things with my vaccine.
Yeah. Well, we get into that too. 'Cause, we'll see how things are in 20 years when, you're like Alzheimer's or something. And,
Oh my God.
but of course, we won't be able to blame it on the vaccine because,
It's too hard. It's too hard to really tell. It's too many factors.
there's a thing called eugenics. If anybody wants to look that up. Just
Oh
throw that
my
out there.
God, I can't even. This fucking guy, we're having a conversation about, what was this conversation? We were on the couch, we were watching a movie,
what were
and then
we
we
watching?
started talking about,
It was like food, right? Or
I don't know. We started talking about something. Oh, no. We started talking about, because Christina, right, was hitting me up or whatever. And a friend of ours, Christina, she's like super, more on like Joe's side of thinking. But anyway, so she hits me up about this whole like, hey, like, so let me ask you a question. And she gets into this whole conversation about race and, yeah, it was like race and just everything going on right now.
Anyways,
and like spring break and like all blah, 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 this whole entire night, right? So then a simple conversation that I brought up to Joe between me and my friend literally turned into him lecturing me. And understand, I think I tapped out at some point mentally, but him lecturing me, and then it ended up in a conversation about eugenics. I still don't know what eugenics is. After
maybe
this
for the next
conversation.
podcast, you'll do the research on it. Just like the history lessons that you said you're going to do with learning about history.
I
and
did
stuff.
learn about actually some stuff by my friend Ashley, who is who is heavily into history as well as the Holocaust, and she informed me that that they were slaves. That in a certain part,
Well, yeah.
that like there was actually slavery going on with the Jewish people and Germans or something, and I didn't know that. Like
It wasn't just German. I mean, it wasn't just
sure it was
Jews
lots
either.
of, yeah,
It was-
yeah. It was like
it was whoever wasn't.
so anyway.
Wait,
That's something
wait,
new that I
wait.
learned. I had no idea. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, anyways, my whole thing was the vaccine. It's like you only have a 1% chance of getting this, anyways, and the vaccine itself is only 90% effective, which leaves you with a 10% chance of getting it. So, I don't. Whatever.
All right. Well, let's.
What was the next thing we were gonna?
You're the worst transitioner ever.
If we go back to the beginning of this, we were talking about Mexico. You did a bad transition into the intro.
What do you mean did a bad transition into the intro?
You just snapped right into it.
I'm just authentic about it. I just go. But you're like, ooh, now we're going to the next topic.
So what?
You're the worst transitioner ever. I'm really gonna need you to like fix that.
All right, so we should just be like, oh, so how was your day today?
Got to be a smooth transition of like.
I did transition into the vaccine from whatever we were talking about in Mexico.
Oh my god!
It was very smooth. You didn't even notice it. See? Boom.
So I mean, I think that the vaccine topic is wrapped up until the next conversation comes up.
Yeah, until tomorrow.
Because the passports are coming out, so we'll have a shit more to talk about then.
Passports? Are you kidding?
Passports.
Listen, not every you're not going to be able to get every state to go along with this shit.
Well, Florida's not.
Fuck no, Florida's not.
Florida definitely will not.
By the way, is everybody hating on Florida? Well, fucking look at the news. Everybody's flying down here because it's so shitty. You go to the airport down here, it's crazy.
And honestly, I really want to talk about that for a second, to be honest. Like, first of all, I've always disliked spring break time here in Florida. I don't like
It's always
just
been
being
crazy,
like having things get crazy. The traffic is more, can't go out anywhere. It's so freaking annoying as people who live in Florida, especially South Florida. But this past spring break, which I guess is still going on, but this past spring break has been absolutely out of control bananas. Why am I watching videos of people, people just in the street brawling with their fucking titties flying out, okay, naked, not even like caring about what's going on. 20 girls just like going nuts. And I'm like mind blown by this whole entire thing because I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, do better. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, do better, man. I mean, come on. Like, it's just like, I think for me as a minority, and I'm going to try and explain this in a way. I'm going to try. All right. So as a minority, we've, let's say, already gone through, right? There's so many stereotypes about us, right? Like all these things, Black people stereotypes, Asian stereotypes, like there's so many Indian stereotypes, like all this shit, right? And for me, I guess in my life, and it's not that I'm proving anything to anybody else, but like I don't really want to be a stereotype. Like that's just not like my thing. Like I'm very much like I'm just kind of living life the way that I would like to live life. Meaning I want to be a respectful person, as healthy as I possibly can be, kind, caring, blah, 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 successful, smart, get my degree, whatever. That's just me, And when I even say those traits, unfortunately, some of those traits are actually opposite of the stereotype of minorities, Black people, etc. So then when I watch these videos on Instagram and I'm looking at this and I'm like, do better, because I'm like, why? Yeah. Because now at this moment, the stereotypes that everyone's talking about are now becoming fact. They're now true, right? As people are watching these videos, everyone's like, see? This is the shit I'm talking about.
It's like if
you can't take fucking Spanish people nowhere. You can't take Black people nowhere. Right. You can't take fucking blah, 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 blah. And here we are.
It's like if a bunch of like Asians went out in the middle of the street and started doing karate with each other and fucking math equations and Rubik's Cubes. We're all just like sitting there doing the fucking stereotypical thing that everybody accuses us of.
Everyone's like, see?
Right, see? Look, they do know karate.
I knew they knew math.
Yeah. and
I knew they were good with money.
And these girls are out there doing the ghetto freaking fighting and whatever thing that is this, unfortunately, is stereotypical.
It sucks.
Thing.
And I understand that there's a bigger issue behind that, like underneath that. I get that. I mean, we can continue. We can go on a whole cycle now. Well, why do you think they did that? Blah, 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 how they were raised, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 whatever. I mean, we can do, and I understand all that. And so I guess for me, then it goes back to the very, very, very beginning, which is like, man, it's so unfortunate that there's not enough funding and money that goes into, let's say, these lower socioeconomic status areas, minorities, whatever, to really kind of give them maybe, like groups, activities, whatever things, like a whole other way of looking at things and a whole other perspective to life. And there isn't much of that. And I think that's a big piece of it as well. As well as tons of other things, I think there needs to be more like, and what I mean by pro bono mental health stuff. Okay, so there's like government mental health agencies that people can go to. Okay, how can I say this? It's not that I'm not a fan of them. I think that they're great that they exist for people who, just have like not that great of insurance or whatever.
It's better than nothing.
But it's better it's better than nothing. Having worked for many of those government facilities when I was younger, getting to the place where I'm at today, and I look back on it, I know the shit that goes on there that I don't agree with, that I'm not okay about. And it upsets me because that's what you're left with. And, so I think there should be more like I've reached out to just like certain organizations, let's say, just to even do pro bono work, because I'm like, man, I will fucking do free. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm fine. I got patients. We're good. Like, I love what I do. Like, I'll do free work. Because I feel like there needs to be more just well-trained, skilled clinicians, man, that are out there willing to do this pro bono, just free work and get into those communities and kind of help out on that level if anybody wants the help, obviously, And I think that could also help. But it's like no one's talking about that. Like no one really talks about that much. It pisses me off.
Yeah, I'm sure there are people doing it. It's just not, a lot, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, really the solution to the majority of our social issues that are going on right now is our children, I think. The way that we raise them. Being self-aware of yourself as a parent is the number one thing, because the kids are just watching you do your thing, right? So you may have thought, or maybe our parents thought or whatever, that they were raising their kids right or whatever. All right, yeah, maybe when they were focusing in and they were mindful of what they were doing and how they were teaching their kid, but on a day-to-day basis, were you actually doing all those things that you're teaching your kids to do so they can see that? Did they ever see you like hang out with other races and hug them and talk to them and enjoy time with them? I don't know, like that's just one example, but just actually living the life that you want to see in the future is helping your children become that. You don't even have to talk to them about it, really, in most cases. I mean, you probably should, but do you get what I'm saying?
I do. I kind of want to go back, though, actually, because I'm sitting here processing, and I started the conversation. I said something such as stereotypes that go along with like different minority groups, but I also kind of want to throw in white people with that. And the reason why I do is because as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm like, well, there's stereotypes for them, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
About that
Karens, Bills, right? Like, there's like stereotypes for them too, right? And then there's even stereotypes for, again, the underprivileged, right? White people as well, which I gotta say, I do kind of fit them in my mind. They are like a minority on another level. I'm not saying that they're minority in terms of like, right? But they're minority in terms of the fact that they don't necessarily fit in, let's say, with the middle class, white class, upper wealthy class white people, like those motherfuckers aren't introducing them to friends of theirs and having them come to parties on Palm Beach Island and shit just because they're white.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're poor.
But I think that
like that's why they're not introducing them and having them come through.
I think that happens in all races too.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
In all races, there's different classes within that race.
Yeah.
Financial classes,
absolutely.
I guess, right?
Which actually I do think is a big piece of it too, guys. Like I think that like poor, like I think a lot of these, I'm not saying that every single thing that's gone on in this world has to do with this. I do believe that obviously there is race involved on a very high level, but I do think that money is another one too in terms of poor, just underprivileged. And I think that people bypass that and then they look solely at the race and then use that as the focus of it, when I don't really think it's so much about that. Like there was this thing years ago, I forgot what it was, but it was like this white kid, I think he was like in college or something like that. He had gotten he was charged with rape and he got off, but let's be clear, not only was he white, his family was like hella fucking wealthy. Okay. So he also had like a lot of money. So, but everyone was kind of like, oh, it's because he's white. Oh, it's because he's white. And then I was thinking, I was like,
no, because he can afford lawyers.
He can afford lawyers and he has a good legal team. But then I'm thinking, but what if it was like a black person who wasn't the stereotype black person or the stereotype Spanish person who was like, I mean, like wealthy, okay? Like had money, had everything in the whole team. Would they have gotten off?
Of course they would have.
Okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like is it always about
well, this
but
is
I
what
think
I'm
money
saying.
plays a
like,
huge.
Yeah, I think I mean, there's a deeper thing behind all this.
I'm sure.
My thoughts of control and stuff like that, but they make everything about race. And I feel as though they chose the wrong one recently with this whole Asian violence thing, because I think a lot of Asian people get what they're trying to fucking do here, because mostly you never hear anything about Asians and like racism or anything like that. So, rarely, right?
Yeah, they're so quiet. Never
right?
Anything.
I don't know. For me, I see through this bullshit and I'm like, all right, listen, it doesn't matter what race. Like that lady in that I don't know where that was, New York or Chicago.
It was in New York.
Right? That got beat up by that big black dude.
Yeah, jeez.
I mean, that's horrible. But like that could have been
anyone,
and
it would have been horrible for anyone.
Right.
Like I don't care if she was white or Indian or whatever. That shit was still horrible. I mean, it was absolutely the fact. And I don't like watching stuff like that. That was like when you go onto Instagram and shit just pops up and you're like, that's exactly what that was. But like that was awful. And then they made that about race as well, right? Because it's this whole Asian violence thing. But come to find out.
Yeah, it should be focused on that
mental
guy
health.
Who like murdered his mother or something,
right.
And he was out on lifetime parole.
Right, this guy had way other issues. I mean, so many.
Whether
issues.
This guy is like purple or green or whatever fucking color or race or culture or whatever, he was fucked in the head. So why isn't the news talking about that? You know, how do we help?
Let's not say he was fucked in the head. Well, I don't like that term. Let's just say he was very, very just mentally ill and not well. He's a very sick individual, you know?
Right. And he clearly at some point in his life and still needed help and wasn't, maybe because he didn't have the money to get the help or whatever.
Right.
And, therapy or whatever it is. And then as life goes on, it gets to this point where he just doesn't give a shit about anything. He sees this old lady walking by. I'm sure that old lady was in his way or whatever it was that in his mind was like enough to do what he did. And it could have been anybody. It could have been any lady. It doesn't matter. I don't know how this came into some Asian thing.
I mean, it could have been anyone as well. Look, for all we know, you guys, and I've seen situations like this occur, just to kind of play out an example. For schizophrenics, let's say, okay? I don't know if this guy's schizophrenic or not. I know that clearly he's mentally disturbed, right? But for a schizophrenic who's not medicated, okay, they'll hear voices sometimes, right? They'll either hear God speaking to them or they'll just kind of hear like people talking to them and telling them certain things. And for all we know, he could have had could be schizophrenic. He's walking down the street and he sees an Asian lady. Now, it could have very well possibly been that, let's say there was voices like, all Asians have to die or something like that because of what's going on right now. But again, does that mean that he's right? No, it could just mean that he's, again, mentally ill and very disturbed. And there's a bigger issue here. Clearly with him, there's a history of a bigger issue. So for me, I'm not even focusing on the race right now. I'm focusing on the fact that he is mentally disturbed. He's on lifetime parole, okay? Mentally disturbed. I would like to know what the state of New York was doing for this man who has been on lifetime parole. What services was he getting? Were those services great? I can guarantee you they fucking weren't, because I used to work for government places in New York. Awful.
Right. Okay? And why aren't they condemning the people that were, quote unquote, helping this guy?
Because
why aren't they questioning him?
If he's my patient,
the therapist,
right? If he's my patient, okay, and I know that there's mental like other shit, I would Baker Act, whatever, okay? Like something would have happened.
Things have happened to this guy.
Right. And again, we don't know. We don't know his whole entire history and what's been going on, but it's like, that's the stuff that I kind of look at. Like, I'm not even really, I think it's unfortunate for anyone to be stomped in the head in the middle of the street and have no one come fucking help you, okay? Anyone. But for me,
and those security guards, they're little bitches. I mean, they stood there and watched. That was ridiculous. I mean, I don't care how big you are or whatever. If you're some guy that's beating on this old lady, I don't care. I'm risking my life to go stop you. I mean, I guess that's just me. Those guys should be fired because they're not security. I'll tell you that. They're not securing anything. But
that is Joe. Opinion. On the other side of things, I would probably. So this is what I would.
Leah would have shut the doors and ran too.
No, stop! I would I have. My God.
But you're okay.
I'm way more
you're not a UFC
logical.
fighter.
I'm way more logical. That's why. Joe would react on emotion and he would go help, which is fine, but
Only in
also
those
dangerous.
scenarios.
For me, I'm logical. I would go, okay, someone call the cops, blah, 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 let's get
By the
this.
time
da,
the
da, da,
cops
da.
got there,
I
no,
would
they
maybe
would've-
like, like if we found something in terms of like something to at least kind of like just, knock him out for, I don't know, right? But I mean like,
Well, yeah, I probably would. He was way bigger too.
he was
I would've- I
huge, so
would've
we also
grabbed
want to be
something.
careful. Yeah, I mean like,
Pipe or
like,
hammer or something.
but like no one did anything. I mean, I'm sure someone called the cops, but like nobody was even trying to like.
And some of
Throw
those
something
security
at him.
guards were bigger than this guy was, and they were just like, "I'm just gonna close this door."
Yeah, it was that was like, oh man, that was just awful. Jeez, I hope that lady. I don't know what's wrong with her now. I have no idea.
So getting back to this guy, right? Like, all right, so let's take we're assuming there's clear chemical imbalance stuff going on with this guy, and but let's even take that out of it, right? And say he was like saying racial slurs to this lady while he was like beating her up. I mean, these things stem from how he was raised. People don't just like think of like Asian slurs off the top of their head. They're like, maybe their friends, their family members. Maybe there was an incident way back in the day where this guy's mother got like punched in the face by an Asian guy or something. Who knows, right? It's really deep shit, but it all began a long time ago. And that's what I'm talking about. It's got nothing to do with the reaction in that moment of that black man, or I don't even know if he was black. He could have been whatever, but like hurting an Asian woman. And that is the most simplistic, easy, dumb, like broken down bullshit that they could ever possibly put on the news. Like they think that you're dumb. They're like, oh, Asian lady, big black guy, he's beating her. That's all we care about. Now, if that is all you care about, I guess you're just a very top level person that's just like, whatever, like this just horrible thing just happened to this Asian lady. I can't believe this. Stop Asian violence. Hashtag this, hashtag that. Wow, great, thank you. But why don't you think a little bit deeper on what this guy's problem was leading up to that point? Yeah. And it doesn't matter what color this guy is. There were things that happened to this gentleman before this moment. Unfortunately, nobody was able to catch it until now. And I'm not saying jail or any of this other shit. I'm just talking about like being kind to the guy, one-on-one. Hey, are you okay? I think maybe you should come into my office if you're a therapist. Let's talk. Or, I don't know. The guy's dad, the guy's mom, the guy's family members, somebody along the way. He has no love in his life. That's why he did this. Done.
Amongst other things.
Well, yes. And listen, I said take out the chemical imbalance. He could have had that since he was born. So who knows? He could have just been like this wild kid, that just doesn't understand how to communicate and express himself.
Right.
But even if people understood that, they'd be like, okay. And not that it's like, okay, what he did, but like treat it as this guy is ill and he did an unfortunate thing, which he should pay the penalty for. But I don't know how the fuck this turned into a race thing.
Moving into then the whole gun stuff that's been going on for God knows how long, right? People want to get rid of guns and because of all the shootings, but it does bring us into that because lately, because I remember, let's say once upon a time, and I say once upon a time because I don't know if you guys have realized this, but I recognize that mass shootings happen in a pattern. So like, let's say for 4 months we'll have like mass shootings at school shootings and all this stuff like crazy. And then suddenly back to back. And then suddenly for like a year or whatever, we won't hear about shit. Like there's no like.
You don't even hear about what happened to them or anything.
You don't hear it. It's like they just stopped, right? And then here we go again. They'll come back up. They'll surface. So that got me thinking also in terms of, like, what is going on here with that, right? And of course, Joe was like, it's planned, right? And then I was like, oh my God, the dark web, they get on the dark web, they talk to each other and shit, and they fucking figure shit out. Like, I don't know, right? But anything's possible. So anyway, once upon a time, let's say, before the shooting started back up again, I don't remember them being about race. I remember them being just about a mass shooting. Someone came into a place who was sick and shot the whole fucking place up and killed people, whether they were black, white, this, that, or this. I don't remember anything race being discussed. But now, because of, let's say, also the world that we're in today, and what I mean by that is just race is a huge, on the forefront of everyone's minds right now. Now suddenly every mass shooting, I feel like, is being turned into race. And I'm like, wait, are we forgetting, though, that there's still, like, another big thing here, which is, again, the fact that, well, for anyone, whether you're black, white, yellow, pink, whatever, to walk into a fucking school or a grocery store and shoot a place up, there's something going on there anyway. Like, regardless of whether he was like, I'm going to go in there and shoot only black people. He went in there and shot only people in general, like people. He shot people. He had mass shooting people. Like, so what's for me the bigger
part of his problems? Like that
that's
he's
like
racist.
Right. Like for me, it's like, okay, fine, yes, and he's racist. Okay, we throw that on there, but it's like he went in there and shot a whole bunch of people, guys. Like that to me stands out more than anything.
And
really.
Until we can all collectively get to that point where we all agree with that and just say we're all just humans. The race thing is meant to compartmentalize us and put us off into groups. So yes, and we're all supporting each other, but it's like this, like, not fake support. It's just this, like, not productive support. It's like, okay, Black Lives Matters. Okay, here's Black Lives Matters. Here I am as a half Asian guy, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I like Black Lives Matter. It's good. It's a good idea, right? Mm-hmm. But that's only for black people. It's not for Asians. Okay, but now I have my own thing. I have Stop Asian Violence over here, and black people are like, oh, cool. That's good for you, man. You do your thing. All right, great. But that's only for Asians, though. You can't be involved. Even though all this shit is happening to us, all of us, and there's people going in and shooting up everybody. It doesn't matter what fucking color you are. I don't know. I just explained that kind of fucked up, but...
My thing, too, is that, like, remember when I was telling you that when I spoke to someone, they had filled me in on the fact that there's actually, this is actually important information because I just found this out. And as a clinician, I had no idea that this even existed. And as a minority clinician, I had no idea that this existed. But apparently, so if you're ever looking for a therapist, you can go on this place called psychologytoday.com, which is where you can find therapists. I'm on there as well. But she also schooled me on the fact that if you're looking for like a specific black therapist, let's say, for a woman, there's a website called like Therapy for Black Girls. And I didn't even know that. I was like, oh my God. So I went and told Joe, and I was just like, oh my God, there's this dope website called Therapy for Black Girls. I got to check this out. And at least now I could tell people about this because I had no idea. And he goes, so is there one for Asians?
Right. Is there?
Oh no, this is what happened. Because what happened was this. I was like, look, that's actually a really big deal because I feel that a lot of black people, African American, the culture,
statistically,
it's very rare. It's very rare that they're walking into my office, guys. Okay, it's very rare that they're in rehab facilities. Okay, they're just like one, you know, like now lately I will say it's been very, very high numbers. And I'm very happy about that in terms of people now kind of, you know, utilizing resources and stuff like that and getting the help. But before it really wasn't. So I was telling him that and I was like, look, it's really great. Now, Black women have this like platform and they can use it, and they can go speak to someone who they feel like actually understands them. And so Joe was like, well, what about Asian people? And then I was like, man, what about Asian people? Because if we look at culture, okay, culturally speaking, when I am working with, let's say, an Asian person, which understands something from 2003 that I've been doing this until today, rare. Rare. I'm telling you right now, I could probably even say I've probably seen just one Asian person in therapy, and I think I'm just being like, I'm like pulling that out of my ass.
But you know why? I'll tell you why. Because my mom would tell me this. She would only want to go to an Asian therapist, right?
This is what I'm saying, culturally, right? And so then I was like, you know what? There should be, and I'm really hoping that a Asian mental health professional has also done this. I have to do my research to see if they have, but that would be amazing.
But why don't they just, on this, what was it, Psychology Today? Mm-hmm. Just tell what race every therapist is, and then the person can choose.
Well, you can see us because you see our profiles.
Oh, so maybe that's what they do.
We have pictures, So
but then you
can see. But my thing is this, though, is that not every therapist that pops up, let's say, on Psychology Today, works with people's insurance or is on their panel. And they're also not giving you everybody in the area. It's whoever just signed up with them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Plus, you look black, but you're not. So they get in there like, damn, Puerto Rican and doesn't even speak Spanish.
I'm Puerto Rican / black because Boricuas come from a black culture.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
What? What do you mean?
No, I was thinking like if I was like black, right? Like, and then I saw you and I chose you to go into therapy there, and then you turned out to not be African American. But what the fuck's the difference? Like you were like, oh, skin color. All right, so your skin color, I like your skin color. And I get in, oh, well, your skin color is nice, but you're Spanish. So I can see you later.
Actually, what's happened is this, actually. So because I actually have run into this, I've had, I think, a lot of people who've contacted me thinking that I was a black woman. And so we'll do therapy, no big deal, And then somewhere like...
They find out
somewhere like in the therapy, like if I don't really self-disclose unless I feel like it needs to happen for the purpose of therapy in that moment. So sometimes it'll be a moment where I'm like, well, like I understand the cultural piece, like in Puerto Rican culture and Spanish culture is very similar, blah, blah. And then they'll be like, oh, you're Spanish. And I'm like, yeah. And then they're just like, oh, okay, like no big deal. And I think it's because I do believe that I think that like, I don't know if it's just that they see Hispanics and not all Hispanics. I'm also like I'm a Afro Latina, so it's like I'm a Black Latin person. So I think that also kind of, I don't know, does something in people's minds of like.
But when they find out, are they like, well, I gotta leave?
No, they stay with me.
No, exactly. That's why it doesn't really matter.
But they stay with me because I'm good at what I do. That's
right.
Why.
It's like the qualifications. Who gives a fuck?
Oh, that's the point. You're
what race you are. But I guess if you feel more comfortable, I could see from my mom's point of view. For your mom, right?
Though.
Like,
wait. But why can you see from your mom's point of view, but you can't see from a black person's point of view?
Because unless it's like an African therapist that speaks like native, like African. What
are you talking about?
And makes them feel comfortable or something.
Why does that have to be the case?
Because they're
culturally speaking, that doesn't matter about what language you speak.
Well, I was just going to explain it to you that my mom, her thing would be that the therapist can speak Korean to her and do this whole thing in Korean, right? Black doesn't fucking matter. I mean, most people speak English, right? So there goes that. Maybe like an Indian or like it's more about the language.
How do I like something?
I already...
Did you like him?
Well, yeah, I talked to... That's my buddy Lloyd, yeah.
Okay, yeah, statistically black people are more... Yeah. I liked that statistic, actually. Thank you for that.
Emergency care.
Read this out. Statistically, black people are more for emergency care rather than preventative care. And as I'm hearing that and saying it out loud, that makes so much sense to me, even as I... It connects dots for me as I read that. Absolutely. It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But no, I get it in terms of your mother not speaking, English well. And so wanting to have someone who speaks her language so it could be a lot easier to relate. That I get. That's understandable.
Yeah, and I guess however, it's like culturally, okay, but like this person understands like where I'm from.
Exactly.
Okay.
You get what I'm talking about. You get where I'm coming from, blah, 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 blah. I can't tell you how many times, though, that is a big piece in therapy.
Well, then the therapeutic industry as a whole should disclose what culture, race you are, what languages you speak as a therapist, right? Just openly. so that people can select. There you go. You don't have to have a special group like, oh, here's a website for black women. You know, like just have the one main website and just disclose this information to the public. Then they can choose. Easy peasy.
I am thinking about that though, because on the Psych Today page, right, when you go onto our profiles, there's a like on the side there's specialties that we click and all these things and blah blah blah, and like populations of people that we're comfortable working with or that we have worked with, that we have experience in, and so you can click all those things, but they don't have anything about race and
or like languages.
They don't have anything about they don't have race, culture, anything like that.
Maybe you could make a suggestion.
Which actually, the more I think about that, that would be very interesting. I mean, wait, hold on, because I'm thinking about it on several levels. It would be interesting, and I get what you're saying. On the other side, though, it would be really like unfortunate for a clinician, and I'll explain why.
It's probably racist to even do that. They would think it's racist.
Well, I don't know, but unfortunate for a clinician because luckily for me, throughout my experience, in terms of throughout my training, I've been fortunate enough to work with like every culture, you know, again, except for maybe Asian culture, because I really have worked with them. But
we don't have any problems,
but I still have, but they've still come through, you know? So I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that. Whether I understood it or not, because I'm also able to empathize on that deep of a level, it helped me, you know? And my patients still felt comfortable enough, and it still worked out. And I loved that because I love meeting all different people and all different cultures, and I love learning about it as well, you know? So if we then got into this specific thing on Psych Today, where it was like everything was so specific of what culture this, blah, 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 then that means that the people who are in training still, right, or the people who are still green in the field who need that experience, who need to learn, are probably going to be limited then to just a certain type of population.
Yes. I have to shut this off.
And then they won't get that experience. You want to download it?
Yes.
Before you lose it?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
We just stopped the live, and Joe can't do two things at once.
Well, you can keep talking.
But yeah, that means that they won't get the experience, and that is a bummer. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want that to happen. So
this is always like tough putting this thing to sharing this. Anyways, okay, so can I smoothly transition into the next thing?
Sure.
I don't know what the next thing is, though. We talked about
everything.
No, we didn't. We didn't talk about the
jobs, government jobs, and all that stuff.
Listen, you keep saying government jobs.
Because you've made this comment about government jobs.
Yeah, but hold on. This is where it started yesterday, was Amazon. There was some article about Amazon and their employees being forced to pee in bottles and stuff on their routes to dropping deliveries off. And yeah, that's no good. What I was saying was, if jobs, it's always the conditions. They're always like oh, you know, Amazon's their environment is horrible, or whatever company, right? They're like, everything's shitty there. Okay, maybe it is. And I just say, well, if those employees think it's so shitty, then maybe they should quit and go get another job.
Oh, because it's that easy, Joe.
Listen, I'm not saying it's that easy.
It's so
but I'm
easy.
Just saying,
you know what? If you don't like your job, just quit and go get another one.
No, never. Quitting a job and getting another one is never like, oh, this is like, I can do this today, no problem. But if it's that bad, I mean, we've all had to quit jobs before, right? And there's been reasons that are so significant that we're like, I can't do this anymore. Whether it's your boss or fucking the environment or whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter what level it's at either. And I would say, because I know where you're going to go with this, is you're going to say like underprivileged and poor people like don't have that you know, whatever, the ability to find another job that he's.
They have
There's
the,
way
they have,
more
they
jobs.
have the ability. I mean, anyone does, but I think that it's not as easy for some people as others. Now, I mean, I know people who literally have, degrees and this and that, who are at a job right now that they don't like, that are looking for other jobs, and it's been like 8 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they still can't find a job.
Those people. This is what I was about to say. Was there's way more jobs for people that are okay with making $10, $15 an hour or whatever. Way more jobs than, say, a doctor or a lawyer or a therapist or something, right? So yes, it does take time. When you're specifically looking for a specific job, then yes, you got to do the research, you got to apply, you got to do all this stuff. But if you're just somebody that just like is like hustling and needs a job to make ends meet and whatever, there's a zillion of those jobs. There's Burger King, Wendy's, freaking Taco Bell, fucking Walmart, Target. The list literally goes on and on. So if you are working at Amazon and you are pissing in fucking bottles because they're saying that you have to, quit your fucking job and go get another one. Like, I don't understand why it's all about like the companies, their environmental, their conditions.
Okay, no.
I'm like, okay,
so I hear what you're saying.
It sucks so bad.
I hear what you're saying. However, on the other side of things, because again, it's not always like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go look for a job and I can get a job within a week. No, sometimes it takes longer than that. So in the meantime, until I find a new job,
you're still pissing
I still have to fucking do this shit because I just can't quit because I gotta fucking pay rent, feed my kids, do all this stuff.
That happens with every job when you're about to quit.
Right. So what? So just because I'm looking for other jobs and I know I'm going to leave eventually and I'm still staying here because I don't want to just quit and have nothing, I'm just supposed to not say anything about the fucking conditions?
Have you ever quit a job?
I have, but I've also said something about what the hell was going on there.
So while you were still there, you told, say it was a boss that you didn't agree with, or you told him to fuck off and told him you're going to look for another job, but then kept the fucking job until you found another job? No, you just shut up. What I'm saying. You just shut up and dealt with it for like however many weeks until you found another job, and then you quit. Just is how it works.
Joe, but I mean, this is a bigger issue. Amazon's a huge company.
Right.
Okay. And if I'm working for a huge company, you mean to tell me that that's not a story? Like, that's a story to tell right there. That I'm fucking like, that these are the conditions for working for Amazon, for God's sake.
Conditions within a company are only as bad as the employees allow it to be. Like, how does it get to that point? Because nobody gives a shit. Everybody's just like, whoa. And then the higher ups, and because the chains of command are so in a company like Amazon, they may be so disconnected from that driver that supposedly is pissing in a bottle. The Jeff Bezos has no idea about that shit, but I'm sure if he knew, he would make changes or whatever. But because nobody's saying anything, well, maybe now people are saying something, so maybe changes are being made. But like, if the employees are allowing this, and it is such a big thing that like they're talking about it with each other, like, hey, how many bottles did you fill today? And then the news gets a hold of it, then okay, well, you just workers, everybody working there that allowed this to happen has created this culture within that company. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or whatever, but the blame is, I don't know. I've been in shitty jobs too, where I just, actually I had a job. My very first like real job was at this place. It was a sheet metal fabrication, and it was my first like design job, right? And this was back in, when was it, 1998 or something like that. And they smoked in the office. And I could not stand cigarettes, so I'm just there, blah, blah, blah. So what I did was I ended up like calling OSHA and all this other stuff. And then they came in, they had to make changes, and they made the changes. And they all knew that it was because of me, because I made it fucking clear there. And they couldn't fire me because they knew that they were in the wrong, right?
So I'm confused as to what's so different than about.
Well, I'm the one that changed the fuck. If I didn't say shit.
But but they are saying stuff.
finally
workers are
now,
saying
finally
stuff.
now,
And
maybe that's what's
they're
going
doing
on.
the same thing that you did.
Okay.
Their voices are now being heard.
Okay, but if
changes can be made.
But if your voice is not heard, such as in my situation, if they didn't eventually quit the smoking, I would have just quit. I wouldn't have fucking.
You would have quit. Mm-hmm. Were you able to quit?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I was a kid.
But I mean, like, if you quit, you can still like have a place to live, right? And stay.
Well, being a smart Asian, I would have fucking gotten another job before I quit. Just like anybody else, no matter what fucking race you are, even if you're poor, even if you're working at McDonald's.
So then if they never changed it, let's say, you would still make sure though that you kept that job before you got another job. And what if you're now 6 months in and you still haven't gotten another job?
I don't know. You just look harder.
Yeah, that's what people do. I mean, like, babe, you can only look for a job with so much. Like, I've seen.
Are you saying that it's like impossible?
I'm not saying it's impossible, but I am telling you though that people listen, when I've looked for work, let's say, right? And obviously I'm looking for jobs that, you know, like different types of jobs or whatever. But like when I looked for work, there was one time that I was out of work for, I think, and this may not sound like a big deal to some people, but I was out of work for maybe like 2 months at one point, and I was like, really, that was like the longest time that I was like ever out of work.
Well, that's tough for people that are not making a lot of money. Even 1 month is tough.
Fortunately for me, I'm able to have, like, I was able for that to happen. Okay, so I'm in a different situation, and I understand that.
Oh, Milton.
But I mean. Oh my God, Joe. Oh my God. You just shouted me out.
Milton afforded you to.
Oh my God.
Everybody has a Milton, you know?
Guys, oh my God. That was when I was younger. God. Now I have Joe.
Well, listen, everybody has a different scenario.
Right,
I understand
everyone has a different scenario.
But it's not, none of this shit is impossible. And no matter what, I'm like, it always comes down to like, oh, I can't believe this huge company was doing this shitty thing. You can't? Like, huge companies do shitty things all the time. Most huge companies are the ones doing the most shitty things. You know, because there's so many employees, so many sections, it's easy to let things slip by. In a small company, it's hard to fucking do that shit, right? So anyways, I don't know what you're arguing here, but like, everybody gets new jobs all the fucking time.
I think for me, the reason why I'm arguing this is because how you're saying it and your tone of voice and how you're saying it is making it seem like it's so easy and that the people can find a job in a week when that's not necessarily the case.
That is not.
Your tone of voice. You go back and listen to this, you will realize that just go get a job. Just go get a job. Just go find a new job. As though it's so easy. And it's not that easy for people. So in the meantime, while they're looking for another job, okay,
they're still dealing with the shitty conditions. They still have
to stay there. So I feel that, okay, at least they're using their voices so that they can possibly then help for changes to come so that, guess what? When they leave, at least they've helped to create change in a company for the new people who come in.
Oh, you're saying like, listen, I'm not saying that they shouldn't voice their opinions on the working conditions. I'm not saying that. So maybe that's where we got
what
screwed up here. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. Like,
so
obviously that's the first.
What's your problem?
It was your problem. You're the one that brought it up. I never had
a problem. What's your problem?
You just explained your problem with me. There's a way that I said it.
No, right? That wasn't really my problem. What was your problem with this whole entire topic?
My topic is that my thing was that it's always about, you always hear in the news that it's about these working conditions in these large companies or whatever, mm-hmm. right? Well, how come they don't make it about like, well, you work here, why didn't you say something about it? Why didn't you do something? Or why didn't you just quit, right? But that is what's happening with Amazon. Obviously, people are speaking up,
right,
and then they're saying something. So I'm assuming Amazon is probably going to make changes or those people are going to quit. Right? And that's it.
Right.
But you know, and then you always talk about, oh yeah, we can get into the government jobs. That's a whole other thing too. I mean, if you have a government job that literally steals money from fucking people for no fucking reason, like I don't know, what's the stupidest fucking government job you can think of? I don't know.
I think we should save this one for the next one. So solely because it's Easter, our daughter just woke up and I have to bake a pie. and it's 12 o'clock. And no, but this is a hot topic, Joe, because you piss me off so much with this thing. You really do. You get me going.
Listen, all right, so for the next episode, think of the most worthless government jobs you can think of. Think of, like, if they didn't exist, life would still go on perfectly the exact same.
The ticket people. The people who give you tickets.
Tickets? Oh, yeah, okay. There you go. Perfect. That's a great one. Yeah.
That's one of his...
Nobody likes the fucking meter maid, right? So we're paying them every day. We're fucking paying them through taxes, right? And everybody hates them. It's a fucking waste of a job. That person probably even knows that everybody fucking hates them. They should go get a new job, because what kind of life is that? The only people that want that job are fucking control freaks.
I don't believe that that's true. We have to, Joe. That's
so. Hold on. This is where you get into like, well, what if they don't have a lot of money and they can't get another job? Well, I just explained 10,000 other jobs. Target, McDonald's, fucking other a zillion
but maybe
other
that
companies.
maybe that job
It's a control job.
Maybe that job pays them better. Maybe that job they have better health insurance. And then they have a family, so they got to put their kids on the health insurance. Maybe that job they have a 401k that's better. Maybe that job.
Okay.
You have no idea.
All right. Well,
And people need that shit. People do fucking want that shit.
all right. So this is what I'm talking about. They've created this worthless fucking job that everybody hates, and it's really nice for the fucking meter maid. They're fucking insurance, helping, paying for their kids' school or whatever it is. But everybody in the world is like, fuck you, motherfucker. This job is worthless. Not the person.
No one's saying
Not
that.
the person.
You're the only one. Right? Stop generalizing. You're the only person right now in this moment that's saying that.
All right, cool.
Okay.
We're gonna have the next podcast. I'm gonna put up a what is it called? A question thing on Instagram.
To lead us into that.
Does everybody let me know if you fucking like meter maids or not? Everybody, if there is a yes, oh my God, we're going to get them on the fucking show and talk to them. Why do you like, well, I am a meter maid. Or it's going to be somebody else that fucking like loves controlling people or something, or having power over people.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for just, being a part of our world and this podcast and listening. Guys, please remember, go on to Apple Podcasts, check us out, rate and review us, give us those reviews and ratings, please. We would love that.
So this is our 10th podcast in about 2 months. So we're on fire.
Yeah.
And we got things flowing. We got about over 300 followers. And this is only in a couple months. So, if anybody out there is like thinking about doing a podcast, go for it, do it. Just keep sticking to it, keep building.
Consistency, yeah.
Yeah. And make sure you're like having fun with it, and it's something you love doing.
Yeah, something that you really love doing.
Because if you don't, then we would have quit doing this like 5 episodes ago because like nobody was following us or whatever.
If this is the one that we if this was the podcast that we talked about doing solely on the whole COVID thing when COVID first came out, I would be so over it by now.
Yeah. If we just did it on
if it
COVID,
was just COVID, like,
or just did it on Donald Trump,
right? Yeah, like a specific thing. I like that this is like this is what we do. This
is our normal life every day, except for when you guys hear this podcast, it's like 1 hour that we chose to get together and openly talk about these things.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, have a happy Easter. Have a happy Sunday. Sending positive vibes out to all you guys, and we will talk soon.
Yep. Love you. See you next time.
Bye.